Okay, this is an interesting little build. This is one of the original drawings I did to get the job, maybe over a year ago. And you can see there the fireplace. This is actually the fireplace behind the bar. So I had to design a shelf system. It's a listed building, so it couldn't actually be attached or screwed. I'm taking some measurements here of the profiles because I've got to profile the shelf in. And I'm going to make some shelves with an angle. I don't think it would look right. You can see here the shelves overhang the backboard. I think if they were in line with the backboard, it would look odd. So I've cut them at an angle, which you'll see later on. This is some detail on some of the fittings that I used for the client. I pitched this and they really liked it. There was two options. One was threaded and inserted into the wood. One was sat on top. They went for the threaded insert. So you'll see me setting it up on the drill press, which is really handy for repeat cuts. And then I use a bit of resin just to bond it in. So one thing is, on the rear panels, I laminated these thin oak strips onto some ply just to give it some character, and just kind of trying to blend between the old fireplace and what I'm doing. If I'd have used any kind of ply with oak veneer, it would have just looked awful. So this is quite character oak, as you see. Okay, so this isn't mine. Again, I lent this from the Festool Rep HKC85, and it had the dado cutter in it. And I've got to say, it is absolutely awesome. It's a really quick way to cut an accurate slot. Much quicker than cutting with a router, much cleaner. And the setup time, because obviously it's sitting in the rail rather than trying to hold the router down. I'm probably going to get something like this shortly when I replace my TS75. Really cool. For the dust extraction, you need the larger hose. It's all blocking in the hose. That's why there's so much sawdust. If I get one of these myself, I'll get the bigger hose and it'll be absolutely fine. So this was quite a crucial cut really, because the angle I'd worked out with, I should have took a template with me the second time I went, but I forgot. So the angle I worked out, as you saw earlier with the tape measures, and these obviously had to meet at the back of the shelf fireplace and then just overhang nicely around that marble with a kind of even shadow gap coming out to the front. So it's really cool having a drill press with quite a long stop on it. This is the Rui system on the drill press, and I really like it because I kind of use, obviously set up the centers, just can quickly bash through. I'm using the screen for the depth stop. You can hear it in the workshop, beep beep. You can't hear it on the video because it's so noisy here. And then you can just watch the screen, and you can, instead of using a physical depth stop, it's really good, really accurate. Okay, so the noise, I'm working in this small garage, well, a decent sized garage actually. The noise, I'm afraid, is the fans that are running because it is so hot. This was done right in a heat wave, and this garage is like south facing. It was unbearable. Now I'm masking up here for some spraying because this is the whole bar, you'll see later on, is all sprayed with a lacquer. It's a 2-pack lacquer, absolutely the hardest lacquer I can find. I get it from the same place, Amicus, which is Rob, where I buy my hard wax oil, and he sells this, I can't remember the make, veneers or something, and he sells this 2-pack that is like for stairs and stuff with an amazing sheen. I use this for the bar top, and I used it for all of these shelving. Unfortunately, on these shelves, I lost the footage, and you'll see in a minute, fantastic colour. You can see here they're not sprayed. In a minute they're going to be sprayed, which is why I've masked them off, but I lost the footage unfortunately. You will, however, see me spraying the bar top later on the next video. So this is them now sprayed. I sprayed the back panels masked off, and I sprayed the shelves before I fitted the stainless, obviously. Then I just screw fit these shelves into those rebates. Now I did a really tight fit with the M10, which is the recommended drill bit. I just found it, I wasn't convinced, so I'm dipping this in some 5-minute epoxy, then I'm definitely sure it's not going to come out. Okay, so now we're on site, the big day. We've brought the main bar, which you're going to see in the next video, and this is the fitting of the shelves for the fireplace, obviously. So I tapped in some really tight fitting braces on the back here. They're almost a friction fit, and then I dabbed a little tiny bit of grip fill on there just to make sure. But most of this load is going to want to pull forward, and if you looked at one of the early pictures, that actual granite on the top is an overhang, so that was really cool. This is a really good moment when we see how that profile was. I wish I'd have got some better pictures for you zoomed in.